What is a seemingly mundane question you can ask somebody that will tell you a lot about their personality? I had a TA ask me in a get to know you activity what my vision was for a perfect world, and I said round lol. What was the last thing you did that gave you a childlike joy? My 14-year-old asked for a longboard last spring. I'd said no before because I figured it'd be something I spend a few $100 on that she'd try once, not be good at right away, and never touch it again. It wouldn't be the first time. After being locked up for 2 months with quarantine, I figured why not? It gets her outside and maybe something she'll enjoy. At that point I just wanted to get her out of her room and off her phone. I'd never seen her work so hard at something she wasn't good at right away. After 2 back-to-back 6-hour days of practice, she started to get the hang of it and asked me if I wanted to try. I couldn't even stand on a board when I was a kid, but as an adult I just got it. I wasn't on it 5 minutes and I said, I need one. We left right then and picked one up for myself. We cruised all spring, summer, and fall. Not only was it great for bonding, I hadn't felt that kind of joy since I was little. A moment I'll never forget. Can't wait for the snow to melt. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. First, I'm impressed she practiced for so many hours. Second, I love that you got it and wanted to go get one so you could do it together. Got this one in an interview once. How do you go about eating a muffin? Learned a lot about muffin anatomy that day. It was a bakery after all. Edit. The bottom is also called a stem BTW, just in case anyone needs some muffin trivia in their back pocket. Edit 2. Also known as stumps. Yes. This was a highfalutin place, so they preferred to refer to them as stems. Oh. I knew a guy at uni that sat at his desk, naked, and just slammed his face down into him like a dog eating out of a bowl. Guy was weird AF. Did I just see you digging through the trash? I didn't know we were playing Stardew Valley. Fuck you, Alex. I hate you anyways. Where were you the night of the murder? What book would you like to live in? What superpower they want? I know there are more powerful powers that could get me wealth or whatever, but man, teleportation would be dope. Can travel the world but always sleep in your own bed and never need to book a flight. Never need to use a public restroom. Easily visit family. Only take road trips if I want. Can live and work anywhere. The rest of life could be normal, but it'd be great. Work? Bro, teleport in and out of bank vault. I love this question because this girl I knew in college had just the best answer. She said the power to fill things, and after I looked at her kind of funny, she said, you know, like filling my bank account with money, filling my belly with spaghetti, or filling me enemies' bladders with urine. The ability to change probability. You could theoretically control anything. What's the probability I'll ace this test? Make it 100%. What's the probability of me winning the lottery? 100%. What's the probability I'll finally catch Alice cheating on me? 100%. In the long run, success only matters if there was a possibility of failure. You'd eventually start forcing bad outcomes just to feel something again. And now you're a supervillain. My father-in-law went on a job interview about 10 years ago and absolutely nailed the interview. As he was being shown around the office, a higher level person in that company who normally wasn't there just happened to be there that day. After they were introduced, he asked my Phil what kind of animal he would be. My Phil said he panicked and picked bear, he's a bigger guy, and the other guy said something along the lines of, that's a little too aggressive, maybe this isn't the job for you. So he didn't get the job, but I guess it worked out because he's got a pretty good job now, and if I was him I wouldn't want to work for someone who hires people based on what animal they think they would be. Bullet dodged. That sounds like an awful place to work. Same thought. If a company would kick you out for everything good but one minor choice, I don't think working there will be happy. Good boss know the strength and weakness of the colleagues. One failure do not necessarily mean bad. Edit. Sorry, I didn't mean fail. English is not my native tongue. I meant some like an answer that is not what the boss want. The right answer was, I'd be a parasite that lives in your eye and eats away your optical nerves. What are you having for dinner tonight? It's really cool to hear about what people like, what their culture is like, because food is a huge part of that, and generally just how they live. Expensive or cheap? Quick or elaborate? Adventurous or safe? Ham, mustard, maybe some baby carrots if they aren't bad yet. I might try to make that garlic bread, but it's been in the freezer for like 3 years now. What would you do if you won the lottery? For me, it's a non-invasive way of listening to people's attitudes on finance in general, and also how they feel about the rich. Yes, this is a brilliant question. When I was newly dating my ex-boyfriend, it was around the time Super Lotto hit $1 billion a couple years ago. We were both in lottery ticket pools and discussed what we'd do if we won. His answer mortified me. It included how, if he were married, he'd divorce his wife and travel the world on a yacht doing drugs surrounded by hot women. Big red flag for me. I always say that I'd turn into an absolutely abhorrent degenerate if I were to suddenly get a cash prize like that. But in reality I just say that because I get a laugh out of people's reactions from that. I don't even know what I'd do, probably just quit working, find a music teacher and play bass and video games all day long. First things first, I'm going to get a financial advisor. I'd have no idea what to do with that much money, and I don't want to end up a mess. Same here. My first thought about winning the lottery is how do you go about finding a reliable financial advisor when you've just won the lottery and everybody is suddenly offering financial advice to you? Fab question I heard in an interview. What would you do if you came home and found a penguin in your freezer? It ends up not only being an icebreaker, but a good personality tell. Are you in favor of homeowner associations? This is a good one because everyone who is familiar with them has such strong reactions. Just moved to a community with a whore and holy fucking shit, I want to carpet bomb the chairman's house. Classic douchebag rich whore chairman straight out of a 90s sitcom. We had to tear out concrete for a little basketball area on the south side of our house because, and I'm not kidding on this, he just didn't want to have concrete outside of his bedroom window view. He wrote the covenant rules so that he can veto and order any landscaping projects on behest of the whore chairman. It's not a single question, but by the second or third date with a guy I would ask him to go bowling. As it turns out there's many ways to play the game. Do they take it too seriously and get competitive or angry if they don't do well? Does he act disinterested or bored of the game? Do they try to teach me how to play or do they just try to be goofy, have fun with it? Do they order 2 pitchers of beer and get totally smashed? In my opinion, you can learn a lot about a person by the way they approach bowling. My husband used to work for Bed Bath and blah blah. He told me part of his job was to put carts away. He said that was his favorite part about the job, wasting time walking around the parking lot finding carts and putting them away. He got to be outside, chill by himself, not have to deal with other worse tasks, etc. Of course this story only came up after I gave him some shit for not putting the cart back one time. This story was his elaborate rationale for not putting a cart back and to prove he was in fact a nice, normal, compassionate human. Normally, a fastidious cart returner, I started to leave my cart, thinking I was actually being nice and even more compassionate than ever before. I probably only did it 2-5x until I realized he is just an asshole who has now made me into an even bigger asshole. I now get to think about how much we are both assholes in our own ways every time I return a cart. What's your favorite dinosaur? In my last year of college, I took a prehistoric history class and was loving it. I, a history major, commuted by light rail to school and would end up spending the hour or so on the train congregating with other history majors. One day, I asked this group, what's your favorite dinosaur? Most of the people gave answers like velociraptors or that they hadn't really been interested in dinosaurs since they were kids, which was fair enough. But one guy said, I don't believe in dinosaurs and that the earth was 6,000 years old. This was a guy that was studying history, for the sake of teaching children history, and he was denying that most of the earth's history didn't exist, despite learning otherwise in the classes he was specializing in. I lost a lot of respect for him that day, and now, having a favorite dinosaur is a barometer test of mine. In a job interview, ask your prospective supervisor how much vacation time and sick days they took last year. This is great because both extremes take pride in their answer and so will answer honestly. The no-low vacation boss is proud of how hard she or he works, but really it's bad if they don't take time off. They're coming in when they are sick, they're not recharging by taking vacation, and the expectation, even if unstated, is that their staff should follow that example. You'll feel guilty every time you call in sick or take vacation time. You want the boss who says I always take my vacation time and encourage my staff to as well. I called in a couple times last year when I came down with a cold. Good boss. Have you ever had a negative reaction when you asked this? I can see a scenario where the prospective supervisor is a little private about this. Could it be seen as too personal of a question to ask? I'm not playing devil's advocate or advocating to not ask. I'm actually curious as someone who's hoping to be interviewing for positions in the near future. If you want to play it safe, you can ask how many days a year on average the employees here take off. One of my standard job interview questions is tell me about something you like doing that you're good at. I don't really care what the answer is. I just want to see passion, effort, and creativity. Do you put the cart back when you're done shopping? I put my cart away. But seriously, whether someone puts their carts back really shows you what they think about rules, social norms, and whether they will follow them when someone isn't looking or judging them. It's really interesting and it's called the shopping cart theory. My girlfriend's dad always uses one interview question that makes or breaks a possible hire. Why are manhole covers round? The goal isn't to know the answer, it's to show that you are willing to critically think about a problem before you say you need help. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.